There were many memorable events in my life in media, such as reporting during wars.
Wildly into the air in a noisy victory salute. There's great joy in Lebanon today with the election of a new president. And the power of the ballot has proven greater than the power of the gun barrel, at least for the moment. From Beirut, this is Larry Frisch reporting.
My first paying job was on a children's program, on local radio in Indiana, then to CBS in New York, appearing with movie stars. I had small parts on radio and early television. Experimenting with film, I wrote and directed a documentary about the boarding school I attended.
My name is Larry Frisch. I'm just a high school student, but as I see it, modern education in our small cities as well as large ones is managed more and more on a mass production basis. City schools sandwiched in between apartment buildings and stores are merely factories of mass production on the conveying belt of education. Because of the rapid developments in every field of science, industry, and the arts, it is of increasing importance that intense individual training be granted every student. Like a modern highway, progress leads man out of these crowded areas into surroundings that uphold the essential communion between nature and 20th century developments. This is Cherry Lawn. This is my school. These buildings in which we live, work, and play are more than mere buildings. They stand for the real concept I've gained of what it means to live in harmony with others, gaining footholds of understanding, so important to have if I'm to help unravel the maze of world entanglements. Each day at Cherry Lawn begins with silent meditation, while a fellow student reads a selection of prose or poetry of his own choice, an elevating thought that brings us together. When the school bell rings, it's time for classes. When the weather is good, classes are held out of doors. Classes are planned to enrich the life of the student. History is presented through a lively discussion. Thoughts fly back and forth as in a good game of tennis. And subjects such as geopolitics detour from the standard curriculum and present a tasty melange of geography and social studies. A lesson in plane geometry. A straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. In our chemistry laboratory, chemistry does not adhere to the standard textbook, but knowledge of facts in their universal usage are the theme of such classes. How closely this boiling globe resembles the state of the world today. Classes, too, in the fields of physics and biology tend to keep the student informed on the basic underlying principles on which more complicated recent discoveries are based. Yes, we keep in step and rhythm, not only intellectually, but by emphasizing and fostering the arts. Whether it be music, drawing, painting, or sculpture, each opens our emotional outlets and presents opportunities for self-expression. Can you imagine a more ideal place to paint than under a blooming bush or in an open field? No city school can engage a more inspiring teacher than Mother Nature herself. The call of nature for skillful hands to help her organize and produce is just about as strong as the demand for skilled hands in the mechanized world of today. I, as well as many others, have experienced at Cherry Lawn the joy and satisfaction that comes through working with my hands. For next to the usage of the mind, hands are the most important tools to master. Flowers come and go. We know their seasons and their beauty. I help to plant many of them. we've learned to follow the farmer and evaluate his work. Our farm fence is not a dividing line, but the grandstand for watching nature's parade of our friends, the birds and animals. The farm animals become pets of our small classmates. But we older students enjoy the farm as much as the younger children. A remarkable discovery.
I became captivated by the possibilities of the film media, and at 20 years of age, I wrote and directed H, the Story of a Teenage Drug Addict, which was the first educational film on the subject produced in the USA.
What am I doing in this hospital bed? How did I get here? I feel like I'm shaking apart. You were right, Marilyn. Why didn't I listen to you? We had so much fun together, remember? Remember the good times in the park on Sundays? We'd sit and dream. The hours would slip by so quickly that before we knew, it was time to go home.
So late? We walked back from the park. Well, maybe I'd save the car back.
Your father was here this afternoon. He wanted to take you to dinner.
He was wasting his time.
Why didn't you go, son?
He treated us pretty roughly, Mom. I've got a long memory. So don't worry, Mom. As soon as I graduate high school, I'll take care of us. We won't need his or anyone's help.
One school morning was like the next. Mom would leave a cold breakfast for me before she went to work. In the school locker room, after gym period, Roy caught hold of me.
So what's the big idea, Roy? Get hit, man. I've got some stuff. It'll do you a lot of good. And it won't cost you anything either. I'm late for class. Leave me alone. Don't put me down, man. Let's make it together. This little old thing will pick you up. Good for any of you. Some other time. Not interested.
Well, how many did you sell today?
Not many. Kids don't seem interested.
Didn't I tell you how to do it? Get one kid that the rest of them like, get him smoking it, and the whole school will be doping.
Yeah, I tried that today. I had a kid named Bill Daniels, but he's strictly a square.
You leave him to me. Get up to the pad sometime. I'll do the rest. By the time I finished, it was late.
Hello, Mrs. Stanley.
Hello, Bill.
I'm sorry I'm late. I got tied up at work.
Marilyn thought you did, so she went to a movie with the girls lately.
That's too bad.
I'll tell her you were here.
Okay, thanks.
Everyone had some place to go that evening, but me.
Hiya, man. All alone Saturday night? Yeah. My friend loaned me his car. Going to a party. Gonna pick up a couple of girls. Wanna come along?
Sure, I've got nothing better to do.
party was held in someone's apartment. I was introduced to Moose, and he seemed like a great guy. Everyone was laughing and having a good time. Some big fella came over and started to talk to me. He offered me a cigarette. It seemed like a regular pack. I took a few puffs, and things began to get fuzzy and move in slow motion. The big guy and everyone else was laughing at me. I was smoking reefers regularly now. Only one a day wasn't enough to keep me happy. But I didn't think anything of it. I could hear Mom coughing at night, and I was determined to send her away to a sanatorium, where she could get well. I was training at the neighborhood gym under the watchful eyes of Moose. By then I knew that Moose took heroin, or H as it's called, and an addict can't stand being around anyone who doesn't take the stuff. So one night after the others had left,
Well, this is it, kid. There's your chance to be a real hipster like me. I'd rather not. Just a little joint pop. A little pick. Try it once. No. Look, kid. Are you traveling with us or not?
well, I'd try anything once. The night of my first fight, my arms felt like clay. The other guy made hamburger out of me. That evening at the pad, I stayed off by myself. The whole side of my face burned like fire. I thought maybe I'd feel better if I put a cold compress on it. Then I found Moose's hypo and a capsule of H. I thought a shot of the stuff would help cool that burning in my face. A while later, it hit me. Moose thought something was wrong. In my haste, I had taken an overdose of the stuff. Enough to kill me if someone didn't help. Moose knew he had to act quickly in order to revive me. One morning I was shaking so hard I couldn't stand up. I'd forgotten to take my shot of H the night before. Then I knew I was hooked. That I couldn't live without the stuff. Now at the hospital, they were taking the drug out of my system. Withdrawal, they call it. holler and scream with pain, and no one can help. After the withdrawal, 2 social workers from the hospital came to see me.
Bill, this is the most important point in your life. You have to decide which way you want to go. No one can make the decision for you.
The doctors can withdraw the drugs from your system, but they can't cure the yearning for the stuff inside of you. That can kill you.
The best thing you can do is to help others keep away from it. Think it over. Call if you ever need us. We'll be glad to help. Anytime. But we can't help you unless you want to help yourself.
Based on my research for the drug film, I wrote a short novel, published in 1953. Later, I found it republished in 2013. I worked as assistant director with a small part in Exodus, a major film of 1960.
What does this mean? HMJFC.
His Majesty's Jewish Forces on Cyprus. What else?
Later, I was an assistant director of the battle unit of El Cid in Spain. I was also Charlton Heston's double in local filming of Ben-Hur. The first feature I directed was a comedy, Tel Aviv Taxi, followed by a war drama, Pillar of Fire. I filmed Casablanca, a crime thriller with sociological overtones, in Athens with talented young Greek actors.
Yoo-hoo! Yoo-hoo! Casablanca! Is anybody there? It's me, Gina. I saw your truck nearby. I thought you might be here.
Oh, Gina. Hello.
That's all you got to say after I testified for you and got you out of jail?
I didn't know.
Go on, didn't know. I sat all day waiting for you to come by and thank me like a gentleman. But oh no, you were probably out chasing some of these nice girls with theirs.
Come here and I'll thank you.
How generous.
When I say something, I mean it. Dirty, like candy. Keep it a present.
For me? Rachel. So that's why you can't touch me. You keep yourself for that tart. Oh, go ahead, hit me, suck my face. How about her? Did you get close enough for her to spit on you? That prig with the big ears, that ugly, filthy slut.
Go rinse your mouth.
Oh, I hope you never die. I hope that you have an accident, smash every bone in your body. I hope they lock you up in jail and never let you out.
I became a foreign correspondent for USA Television.
This RPG and the shells were used by the PLO from this roof against the Israeli Defense Forces. Now the Israeli army uses it as a firepower position. It was a not-so-abrupt end of the 9th ceasefire, and perhaps the opening round preparing for the final assault on West Beirut.
I covered parts of Black Africa. I've worked in South America. I also directed a film in war-torn Vietnam. Together with my wife and young daughter, I was invited in 1971 to the People's Republic of China, months before President Nixon.
Probably more than any other country, the People's Republic of China values her youth.
The documentary I produced was severely restricted by Chinese government officials, but I believe it is of historic value.
To the eyes of a Western visitor, the country is poor in everything but spirit and a capacity for hard work. My wife and daughter and I went for a ride along the Pearl River, which flows through the city of Guangzhou, a commercial center for the region. The river is alive with activity, and boats of all kinds, both new and old. Recently built office buildings dot the shore, but many structures remain from before the revolution of 1949, when foreign countries had concessions and Chinese were not allowed inside. But the emphasis in China is definitely on the new. The local zoo boasts English language signs to accommodate Western visitors.
Hi there. Hello, you good little one. Hello.
My daughter was fascinated by the antics of the panda bear, and the two of them together drew an appreciative audience. Wherever we went as a family in China, we were welcomed in the warmest and most friendly manner. Important aspects of the society are reflected in miniature in the kindergarten. For example, the amazing group teamwork exhibited by tiny tots playing a game. A game which I joined for one play. The ideal of youth is to serve his country, and even a children's puppet show is built around helping the local peasants to work the soil. Amateur groups, composed of workers, sing about the production achievements of their factory. In China, entertainment, like everything else, must have political content. There are 3,900 students between the ages of 12 to 16 and 160 teachers in this school. Physical education is one of the 10 subjects taught. Since the Cultural Revolution of 1966, emphasis has been placed on teaching the students with Chairman Mao's thought. The qualities of unity, alertness, liveliness, and seriousness are highly prized. In the suburbs of Guangzhou, we visited a school for the deaf and mute. The teacher uses a high-pitched voice in the classroom so that pupils can feel the vibrations.
It can take a long time for a student to be able to speak even one word, and as much as 2 months to learn one sentence. Deafness is considered a curable disease, and the Chinese are using their ancient technique of acupuncture, which they claim has improved the hearing of 80% of the students. An Army medical orderly helps with a treatment which consists of introducing small silver needles into key points in the body. The needles are said to be painless and do not draw blood. Tamar taught some of the children a hand game, and she said it was easy because we didn't need words to understand one another.
Go.
The Chinese have always been sensitive to beauty, and 20 miles from the city, we visited the Xuan Artistic Pottery and Porcelain Factory. 400 workers are employed in this state-owned enterprise, and their average wage is the equivalent of $1 American a day. The People's Army and the struggle of the peasant are favorite subjects. The designers we talked to told us that art must have a political message, and an artist's imagination should be based on reality. In order to get to the Tatsi People's Commune, my family had to travel some of the way by car ferry over a river, part of the Delta area surrounding the city of Guangzhou. Our Polish-made minibus and our excellent driver made good time over roads with practically no other traffic. We passed a sign reading, "Out of bounds for foreigners without special permits." The production brigades of the commune strive to meet quotas, and the individual is paid according to his production and the size of his family. Chairman Mao set up the commune system in 1958 to provide a framework for pooling labor and cash resources for the 80% of China's population that lives on the land. Self-reliance is stressed by the government, and the communes and their units are expected to do whatever is necessary, with little outside assistance. We saw a very good example of this at the People's Commune, where hundreds of workers and students were building a mud dam to reclaim land for rice planting. We went to the home of one of the commune members, an ordinary laborer. His father had died before the revolution of starvation. It was a story we heard over and over during our visit. Man does not live by bread and slogans alone, and rice wine is expertly turned out by the Tatsi People's Commune. A potent brew to the uninitiated. In thinking back on the many delightful experiences shared by my family with the Chinese people during our short stay, we only hope that the political differences which separate our two countries will lessen with time, and that we shall continue to have the opportunity of knowing one another better.
I was also able to report on cultural topics, interviewing a movie star on location, a commander of UN peacekeepers, and an Ethiopian troubadour playing a homemade one-string instrument. In 2009, I was invited to a film festival in Warsaw. I had assembled amateur footage of the 1930s to reflect the dreamlike memories of my summer camp experience. As a 6-year-old, I was sent with my older sister Hadassah from Indiana to Sedgwick, located at Port Jervis, New York. Back those many years ago, our Zionist parents wanted us to experience what was thought to be a mini replica of Jewish life in the Holy Land. These 1930s amateur films bring to life my youthful memories of a unique Jewish Zionist camping experience. Sedgwick, an acronym for Central Jewish Institute, was established in 1919 by Albert and Bertha Schoolman. It comprised several smaller subcamps which served the needs of the different age groups, and boys and girls were separated by our large lake. Sedgwick was the first Jewish Zionist summer camp of its kind in the United States. During its most successful season, it boasted 1,200 campers and 600 staff members before closing 80 years later. An estimated 60,000 youths passed through Sedgwick's summers, emerging with an ongoing commitment to Jewish life. Of course, we kids couldn't care less about Sedgwick's rather basic living facilities. The expectation was of a fun summer. I'm sure we were not thinking of any ideological orientation, like the brochure sent our parents, which emphasized educational and recreational outdoor Jewish living. Although there was no running water in our bunks, we didn't feel we lacked anything, and during bad weather, it was easy to roll down the tarps on the sides of our log houses. A favorite pastime was eating, and I remember many discussions about the content of the best meals. We unanimously agreed that those meals served on the Sabbath and before visiting day won the prize. Riding on real horses was a special thrill for city-bred campers. It certainly beat walking the asphalt streets at home. Most of us were not great athletes, but we joined in anyway. The goal seemed to be to enjoy yourself and maybe learn a thing or two about some new sport. A belief for generations past that the Jewish people must remain strong was emphasized by many athletic events and competitions, always coupled with demonstrations of patriotism, sending the clear message that we were privileged to live in the land of the free. Despite the comical look of these dated bathing costumes worn by our counselors, I actually learned to swim. Sedgwick, they also taught life-saving. As adults, we would later learn of the events of World War II and its aftermath, with an ever greater appreciation of our own country. At a time of challenges of dual loyalty, Sedgwick was unique in appreciation of both our land of liberty while not conflicting with dreams of a future Jewish state. The special beauty of religious services in the midst of natural surroundings helped us to experience the spiritual side of Judaism and left a lifelong impression. On the lighter side of my summer memory, was the carnival happenings. We used to give all of us a satisfying feeling of participation while learning new skills. The most anticipated event of our summer was Parents' Day. We eagerly awaited the arrival of mother, father, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. I also remember the anxiety of not finding your loved ones immediately amidst the crowd. Definitely not our usual camp routine. But all ended well when the family group finally assembled, bringing with them all kinds of special food treats, which we quickly devoured. Mother Didn't Come was a mock pantomime acted out by jovial young actors. Our director, A.P. Schoolman, addressed the parents with the latest news about the children's camping experience, and we then smartly dressed campers marched by for approval. We were treated to a biblical pageant presented in a natural amphitheater on the Sedgwick grounds. Could this have been the Pharaoh of old who let my people go? Perhaps the character of the dance explains everything. We helped create these imagined biblical scenes, while at the same time we learned a bit of Jewish history. The climax of the summer was the Maccabi Games. This event endeavored to duplicate the periodic gathering in Palestine of sportsmen from Jewish clubs all over the world. They competed in a whole range of sporting events. We began our celebration with a march of the athletes, bearing flags representing the different competing groups, regardless of their abilities, the youngest campers included. But the true victory belonged to all the campers, as they joined together in a true spirit of sportsmanship, a spirit shared with the Maccabi athletes participating then in Palestine. Competition was very keen, and the enthusiastic audience cheered on what they hoped would be the winning side. I left with mixed emotions, happy to return to my family, but remembering too the joys of vacation. The dim images of the old black and white film fades, but the warm memories of my Jewish Zionist experience remains, as I'm sure it does for thousands of other campers like me, of a unique and historic camp experience. I was honored in 2013 for my early feature film, which proved to be the first completed in the State of Israel. I'm very happy to see all these smiling faces, to see something that I did as a youngster. I was 25 years old when I started the project. So it was done within only a young person can start a project he doesn't know whether he can complete it. Young people, as we know, you feel you can do everything. I've learned later what I can't do. But thank you very much for coming.
Jerusalem is known as the city of neighborhoods, and within these walls are the Christian, Muslim, Jewish, and Armenian quarters. The Armenians, a minority persecuted throughout history, were the first nation to embrace Christianity. The Jewish quarter, rebuilt after its destruction during prior Jordanian rule, is home for the Meyer family, who were all born in Israel. Nathan Meyer is an economist. The mother, Naomi, is a midwife. Hadija Shaladi is the mother of two small girls. 25-year-old Hadija lives with her mother in the Muslim quarter.
Sometimes I have to be at work when the shops are open.
And what of the future?
To have our own independent state, so we can have security and not live in fear.
We have only one state. So we hope that we will find the way to live together.
We need a good solution and for the benefit of all the people, because Jerusalem is the city of peace, not for war.
In the final analysis, a family's emotional needs and daily life together are not much different whether they live in the United States or Jerusalem. So despite the ugly confrontations of recent months, there is one feeling that unites the divided communities: their desire for peace. 17 young musicians from Cedarville College in Ohio are tasting the sights and sounds of Bethlehem during the colorful Christmas season. These students come from different backgrounds and are majoring in subjects ranging from business to elementary education. Handel's Messiah, performed by the Cedarville College Brass Choir.
Thank you for sharing my life in media.